And before we start the second stream tonight, let's start with a quick little dance break. I had to. All right, guys, might have to be the theme of the night though if this continues for Wednesday nights. But yes, guys, what is going on? Once again, this is the Club of the Man 1993 Country Street number 2 of the night. As I review the second of 3 wrestling shows I watched today. If you want to count the Mae Young Classic, I'll watch that after I do these streams to get ready for bed. And if you want to count Survivor, I've watched 5 shows in general today, but of course I'm not going to review. I don't review Survivor or anything on these channels, but my channel reviews. But excuse me, we're going to talk about 205 Live. Just got done having a good first review talking about NXT UK. If you haven't caught it yet, I definitely recommend checking it out. I know it's going to take up a lot of time though, with how many wrestling shows we got to watch, but again, it's still worth watching, I feel. So we're going to talk about tonight's episode 205 Live, of course, which was taped before SmackDown Live, but now it only airs Wednesday nights, which I think is cool with me because I don't really feel like watching after and reviewing it after, watching SmackDown Live, a 2-hour show. So we got some fresh content tonight with 205 Live. For the most part, wasn't a bad show overall. Not one of my favorite shows. The main event was the bright spot of this show for sure. The first match, was okay. Stuff in between, some of the promos we got were pretty good, though. So I was a little more lenient with my grade. I was going to give this a little bit of a lower grade at first, but then, I like the stuff we got in between. More so just the first match. I was just like, pretty much with it. So let's get into 205 Live, of course, that took place, same location as SmackDown 1000 did last night. Took place in Washington, D.C., home of Batista, and also another cruiserweight who was in the main event tonight of a fatal 5-way, which I appreciated us getting. So let's scroll to the top of the page. I don't know how I got down here. We, of course, started off with Drake Maverick on Welcome to the Show, talking about the changing landscape with the new champion, Buddy Murphy, the shocking arrival of Mike and Maria Kanellis. Again, damn, she made my week last week in that dress. And Tony Nese's big upset win over Cedric Alexander. This wide open landscape is the reason he's booked a fatal 5-way for tonight to see who is going to really, make a name for himself in a big opportunity and stand out. Maybe eventually get a cruiserweight championship opportunity down the line. Didn't say who was all in the match yet, but we'll get to that later. We have Vic Joseph welcoming us to DC, informing us that Buddy Murphy is there. He also gets thoughts on the main event from Nigel McGuinness and Percy Watson. We get a flashback then of Drew Gulak and Gentleman Jack Gallagher pretty much dumping D. Brian Kendrick and beat him down. And then we have Gulak and Kendrick and Gulak and Gallagher make their way out for the first match. Was a match with Drew Gulak taking on Akira Tozawa. Match I thought was all right. Again, Akira Tozawa, again, a little underrated, but he's still not quite hitting a high note for me yet, but he's still kind of stuck in that mid-card level. Of course, they keep pushing on the fact that he was a cruiserweight champion for 6 days, and the run was completely pointless. So it's a very forgettable run. This is just keeping something for Gulak to do. There was a point in the match also where Gulak actually was trying to put Tozawa in more pain. So instead of just putting him in like a chokehold, he started biting his ear, and Tozawa keeps doing his odd chance to resist the pain. The match though ended in disqualification after Jack Gallagher, first what happened was Gallagher pulled a Gulak out of the match, and then Tozawa did a missile drop kick to take out Gulak and Gallagher outside. He sets up Gulak then for the senton bomb, but then Jack gets up and pushes him off the rope to cause a disqualification. Afterwards, Gallagher removes his cufflinks and starts to brawl with him. But then out of the blue, here came the Brian Kendrick, who's not been seen since, his buddies Gulak and Gallagher dumped him. He gets into the ring. He locks in the captain's hook on Jack Gallagher, but then Drew Gulak saves him, and they exit right afterwards, the Brian Kendrick goes to help up Tozawa, who Tozawa's a little bit, resisting at first, which makes sense, but eventually he somewhat accepts. Now, I don't want to say too much, because I am going to be recording my turn because it's official now that the Brian Kendrick is on a babyface run right now. Still not too crazy about it, though, because, one, I preferred it being Gallagher. Two, isn't the reason why the three of them went after Tozawa in the first place is because Tozawa wrote off Kendrick? Like he injured Kendrick and was causing him to not be on the show for a couple weeks. And then Kendrick won when he came back, but then Gallagher lost. I'll talk about it more in my turn alert that I will do right after these live streams tonight. But yeah, I'm still confused with this. And I'm not too sure if the Brian Kendrick was the right one to turn. I mean, I get it maybe because, Gallagher was once a babyface. But in my opinion, Kendrick's more better off as a heel, is a better heel. Gallagher, I'm just still seeing more signs that he's not meant to be a heel. He should be a babyface. Or as I also said too, put him on the NXT UK, I think also. I think, he can be still used on 205 Live, but I'd like to see him also get more mix with the UK wrestling as well. I mean, of course, we could see maybe Drew Gulak will take part in it as well, since he was wasn't he in one of the earlier dark matches for the championship tapings? Maybe he can get some time on the UK brand as well. Again, wait for these guys to get more than just the cruiserweight division and get noticed a little bit more and build reputations. But again, I'm still not too crazy about the Brian Kendrick being a babyface with this situation going on here. But we'll talk about that more in my turn I do afterwards. Backstage, we see Drake Maverick welcoming the champ Buddy Murphy and his training partner Tony Nese. Congratulates Murphy, who says he would have been champ 6 months ago if Drake Maverick's if he blamed Drake Maverick because he failed his weigh-in right before the Greatest Royal Rumble. But that's in the past, but now he's looking forward to seeing what Maverick does with the new 205 Live with him as champion. Tony Nese proved last week he's the only guy who can hang with Buddy when he became the only other man to pin Cedric Alexander this year. He's going to prove the whole division runs through them when he wins tonight's main event. So it was revealed then that Tony Nese was going to be in the main event. We then get a video promo from the Canalisis. Maria, of course, was shown from, the head up, and I'm just like, come on, let's see if you got that dress on. I'm sorry, that dress. Oh, boy. I was literally attempting to get Mike Canales' number and say, hey, Mike, can I switch last names with you for a little bit? Just kidding, of course. Maria Canales is probably a lot older than me, which I don't know, probably in her 30s, I'd say. I'm not sure how much older she would be than me, but couldn't deny how good looking she looked in that dress last week. But anyways, they get a promo. They took an opportunity last week, and they'll take them to the title, and just mentioning how 205 Live has a new power couple, which is probably the first reasonable power couple. The first one was unfortunately Noam Dar and Alicia Fox, but this course could erase that. They'll start proving it by finishing what they started last week when he takes on Lindsay Dorado next week. So I'm cool with that. In terms of fact that again, I'm just hoping that Mike Canales gets something to do. He showed up last year on SmackDown, gave him nothing to do. Give him a fair chance. I haven't seen much of his indies work on the indies, so hopefully him being on 205 Live does get him somewhere. And of course, I'm not taking 205 Live as an insult because again, Triple H has done a good job making his show feel more. Yeah, there's stories behind it, but it feels more about wrestling again than character driven, which is why again I've been enjoying it. But again, I would like to see these guys get more opportunities than just the cruiserweight division. If they do, then I'm cool. I'm cool with 205 Live. But hopefully, again, some of these guys will get some opportunities in NXT UK. And, of course, NXT Junior. Heck, Tony Nese a couple weeks ago had a match with Johnny Gargano, and he lost, but it was one hell of a match. Definitely an underrated match of the year candidate, I'd say. Johnny Gargano and Tony Nese recently, I would say. But yeah, we had that. What's up, Matt? Again, he said WWE DC lineup yesterday, 205 Live, SmackDown 1000. Mixed match challenge and WWE SmackDown main event dark match was Charlotte and Becky. Sounded like a pretty good lineup. especially for like a dark match, nice little bonus there. I didn't catch the mixed match challenge. I watched it last year's, the first one. It's all right. Can't really get into this one this year. I mean, even though I was kind of hoping that Truth and Carmella win it, just haven't really gotten, the feel of actually wanting to get into the mixed match challenge for some reason. But thank you for letting me know that rundown, Matt. Again, thank you for continuing to support the channel as well. So next week we are going to get Mike Kanellis taking on Lindsay Dorado in Mike Kanellis' first match on 205 Live. Again, hopefully this will result in better matches for Mike. Backstage, these promos though were pretty good. I like these next promos. Hideo Itami backstage says some stuff in Japanese, then tells Mustafa Ali he should have walked away in next week's main event, which it says last man standing on cage side Cedar's notes, but it's actually Falls Count Anywhere. But next week he will end Mustafa Ali's career, probably culminating this feud. And then we see Ali responding from like a remote location. He's walking down a road in the rain wearing a greatest of all time goat jacket on his back, which I liked how this is something different for a change, saying that they've been down this road before. So it's time to take a new road. And this new road runs right into him and Falls Count Anywhere. The usual strong stuff from the heart of 205 Live, of course, he mentions. That will be our main event next week. The third or fourth match, one-on-one match we have seen in this series of matches between Mustafa Ali and Hideo Itami, which they've been pretty physical matches. Of course, that not all of them have had an end result because, Itami hasn't, really finished a match. Too many matches since going full on heel on 205 Live, which again I felt was the right role for him. As I keep saying though, improve his entrance and his ring gear attire though, because again he just looks too. I mean, in the ring he's awesome, but his regular presence just feels too simple. Like get him something that stands out a little bit more. Like they did it with Mustafa Ali with the light and whatnot. Let's do it with a few others there as well. Anyways, but I look forward to seeing what that main event brings next week with the Falls Count Anywhere match. Should be a really good physical match. Maybe could be one of my favorite cruiserweight matches of the year. I mean, I still think my favorite though was the no disqualifications match between Murphy and Ali, and that was probably my favorite match I'd say so far for the cruiserweight division. But we'll see what this match entails next week as we'll get our main event with Hideo Itami and Mustafa Ali Falls Count Anywhere. Last time we had a Falls Count Anywhere match, I think, may have been the Natalya Nikki Bella Falls Count Anywhere match from early in 2017, which was a Nikki Bella feud I actually enjoyed. Unlike we got now with Nikki Bella and Ronda Rousey, not except for the fact that Ronda Rousey completely owned Nikki Bella on the microphone. Because once again, the only door that Nikki Bella's ever knocked down was the door to John Cena's bedroom. The same door she has gone right back out of. Burn! Anyways, so let's move on now to our main event, a fatal five-way. Nothing rose on the line, more so just, give an opportunity to, see, who can, stand out of the five of them. So the match featured TJP, who came out with his necklace on and had Kalisto's mask attached to it because he removed the mask 2 weeks ago. Because obviously now TJP is involved in some feud with the Lucha House Party, and he's just having a disrespect for Lucha Libre and whatnot. But Kalisto came out with another mask on as Lucha House Party did introduce Grand Metalik. He came out, which I'm glad to see him get his opportunity because I did think Grand Metalik has also been somebody who's definitely underrated and been underutilized on 205 Live. So giving him a spot in this match with all these big names. The second was Leo Rush, which he got a huge pop because we were in his hometown of Washington, D.C., which I see also Leo Rush hanging with some bigger names on 205 Live. So far, one match he's had against are just jobbers. We had a couple matches against Akira Tozawa, and he's recently had one with Noam Dar. And so we got him. Tony Nese came out as the fourth member. And then finally, Cedric Alexander. Second week in a row, we're seeing Cedric Alexander in action. He's just trying to get himself back together after losing the Cruiserweight Championship. His first loss also in 2018, but he dropped it to Buddy Murphy, which again, I still feel was a very worthy opponent to drop the Cruiserweight Championship to. The match I thought was awesome. Of course, it kind of continued on, the story between, the Lucha House Party and TJP, TJ's trying to rip off, the massive Grand Metalik and continue to disrespect Lucha Libre like he does. Leo Rush, again, the upstart, just trying to make a name for himself off some bigger names. I think I'm glad he didn't take the pin. For the most part, he looked pretty strong in this match also as well. Cedric Alexander, of course, is trying to get back on track and, taking out, going up against, 4 other big names in the cruiserweight division. And Tony Nese also, who's trying to prove that, hey, him and Buddy Murphy run this place. They are the 2 best on this on this roster. No one else can hang with them. And the story was told good. We had a lot of great back and forth action. It first started off a little bit slow, but then we had a lot of, close falls getting towards the end. I know Leo Rush had a couple close ones as well. Midnight Hour, his falls, his pins got broken up though. He got taken out after Cedric Alexander hit a lumbar check. But out of that, Tony Nese won by rolling up Cedric Alexander for the 2nd week in a row. Tony Nese gets another victory, which again, I was very pleased with that. That again, because I kept saying that I've mentioned Grand Metalik. I know Leo Rush is definitely the future face of the cruiserweight division. He's definitely a future cruiserweight champion. Of course, and he's him being paired with Bobby Lashley is definitely sent back Bobby Lashley on a better track. Although you gotta tone down how annoying he can be on the microphone. I mean, he can do it for a little bit during the match, but if it's going to be during the whole entire match every single week, it is going to get a little bit old. I will not deny about that. And of course, Grand Metalik and TJP continue their storyline in the match. But of course, Cedric Alexander is on some downfall. So could we eventually be seeing some seeds they planted towards like a similar, feud that, my good friend Rob Kenobi mentioned about an idea of having a match with Triple H and Cedric Alexander, game on or game over, because Cedric's on his losing streak now? Or could this maybe lead to a Cedric Alexander heel turn maybe? I don't know, but either way, I keep saying also, well, Cedric Alexander is going to get his rematch at some point. He needs to have his rematch. Maybe you'll get in a triple threat match against Murphy, Nese, and Alexander. But eventually, it will turn either Murphy or Nese on the other one. And hopefully after that, we'll see Cedric Alexander move on to other things besides the cruiserweight division, because again, he can be a world champion, a U.S. or Intercontinental champion. I mean, he could go to NXT, but I don't think he needs NXT. I mean, of course, him going to NXT could be better because he probably would be booked better on NXT. But I think it's time we do Cedric moves on to other things besides just the cruiserweight division, though, because he is freaking awesome and could be an eventual main eventer. He could main event WrestleMania. Alexander, of course, looked distraught afterwards. He smiled, walking back up the ramp. Murphy nodded while watching all backstage. The announcers reminded us who the show runs through, which is Murphy and Nese, and that's what Tony Nese proved once again in this match tonight. And again, Tony Nese is finally getting the momentum going. I think he well so deserves. So I'm happy for him as well. But guys, that is it. That is my live review of 205 Live. I'll give this show a B. Wasn't much of a fan of the first match with Tozawa and Gulak, because this whole thing with Kendrick being the babyface against this weird guy. I'll talk about that in my turn alert that I will record after I do my NXT review. So I don't know, the promos weren't too bad. My favorite, of course, was still the promo with Mustafa Ali out on the street, rainy night. Of course, the main event I thought was awesome. Also, again, great to see Tony Nese racking up some big victories, even pinning like a former champion in Cedric Alexander come up that. And even he lost a few weeks ago. He had a great match also again with Johnny Gargano in NXT as well. So yeah, not a bad show. I mean, again, start off a little meh, and then the rest of the show got better. So I'll give the show a B. Not a solid B, but a decent B, I'd say. Just regular B. I was going to give it a B minus, but I felt it was worthy of being just a regular B. So a B for this week's episode of 205 Live. What grade would you give 205 Live, guys? Leave your thoughts down in the comment section below. And as always, sure to click my like and subscribe more content to my channel. Follow me on Twitter at DemandAirboy93. I'll be back up here again just another second for one more live review tonight, as this will be my normal routine now for Wednesday nights. NXT UK, 205 Live, and NXT. So we'll get an NXT next, right here on our channel, The Club of the 1993. So until then, guys, I will see you all then. Peace out, everybody, and stay tuned.